right, welcome everybody back to the ULCS studios. We're about to kick off picks and bans for game 2 between G2 and Origen. And man, what a quick one. 25 minutes, dude. 20 kills to nothing.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Origin members looking around. Not really sure what happened in the last game. Basically what happened was they split up, they all died, and G2 managed to get a 20-0 advantage. However, it wasn't the biggest goal lead at 10 or 20 minutes. They were actually 400 gold behind Fnatic, who managed to have a better score at 20 minutes yesterday.
Well, somehow I don't think Origen will take too much solace from that. What a rough performance, but in all honesty, you kind of have to expect to lose against the top team in Europe, and they're all smiles on the G2 side. Question is, I mean, these guys are going to keep themselves undefeated moving into Unicorns of Love if things look this way. Can Unicorns and other teams even like learn from what G2 are doing? Because they're not showing anything different.
No, definitely won't be the games you're sitting in. And scouting specifically, depending on what happens now in game 2, Pyro, it is a new game. There is a chance that Origen can find some sort of advantage in the early game.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they were talking about on the desk, hey, why don't you just pick super dominant lane? Just try to win lane, win games,
we talked about
snowball.
that as well, yeah. Just like all in early game. Like, just try. But problem is, I'm not sure G2 will allow you to get those picks in the early game. Last time, it was G2 on blue side as well. Zyra, Malzahar, and then Camille was banned because they didn't want to have Origen leave it open and force them to first pick it. They're doing the same. They're going to first pick Varus, unless Origen bans it away instead of the Jace right now. But then you can also still go Jhin.
Yeah, always a possibility. So Origen, 20 seconds still left to ban this one away. As you mentioned, G2 on the blue side. They picked it this time.
And I want to see MFA to carry from Tabs now.
There you go.
I want to see something where you have like this crazy strong lethality ulti that if G2 is playing a sloppy game, then you can win team fights with it. Strong laning phase as well with the double up. So now, ooh, you gotta decide as G2, do you want Jace or do you want Varus? Which one? If they pick the Jace, Varus will be locked in by taps, and we sadly won't get our MFA to carry.
No. Make it a support though, you never know.
Yeah, but
or maybe Sven picks it up.
It's not the same. Ooh,
There's
maybe. Sven is a very boring player who's like, what is best in the meta? I will pick it. So now, for most teams, Jhin would be best because Varus has already been locked in, so he will just pick Jhin. And then he will be like, yeah, I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to win games, get some kills. Could add another line to that one, but let's just move on.
I've never heard someone flame someone for being good.
No, it's not a flame. I'm just saying, like, he is the kind of guy who's like, what is best now? I will play that. So many other AD carries are like, no, what about Draven? Or maybe I should try Twitch. It's like, what is best? This is best, pick. There you go.
And there's the Jhin. Okay, so far so standard on that side. G2 still have another pick for themselves available, but they have a lot of power between the Jace and the Jhin. I mean, that is going to hurt with the armor penetration, or the lethality, I should say, coming through a little bit later in the game.
Yeah,
what G2 like to do?
Ryze is open again, which obviously is a good pick for them, but then you would show Jace top already, and that kind of removes the flex option. That is why they're going for a support instead. Now, this would be a bit of a curveball here in Europe.
Why not?
We have seen it before.
What do you got to lose, Origen? Come on.
I mean, fair. Why not? You know, you have to try something.
You already built a Hextech GLP.
And this is a pick that can roam and try and snowball your lanes. Not
Speaking
as
of
effective
roaming,
as that's another one. I don't think you need to pick it right now. You can save it for the next pick phase, which is why I think they're just kind of trolling around. Oh, yeah, there.
Okay, so they're going to lock the Corki at the end of the day. Man, that was so much build-up.
Thought for a second when he went back to the Aurelion Soul, but no. Origen now have shown the mid laner, jungle AD carry, jungle support on G2 side, so G2 can pinch support or top laners, and Origen can pinch mid laners or junglers, depending on which role they decide to focus on.
There's the
Ryze ban, not a big surprise.
I just don't want to face it down. I mean, it gives G2 a lot of late game power, but it's also something Perkz has been showing to be more comfortable on, despite being just a strong pick. And there's the start of the support bans, as you mentioned.
Yeah, get rid of the Karma. Is there anything else they want to get rid of to make sure Jace has a good lane? Most likely not, unless they fear a potential Shen coming in. But it was a pick that Origen obviously couldn't really utilize at all, also due to the very good lane swap by G2 in the last game.
Expect to see more of that again as well, Origen. Maybe if they can try to preempt it a little bit, try something tricky. We'll see as the game gets underway, but still in the ban phase. No, it's the Graves.
Okay.
Okay, so target the jungle pool, the trick a little bit more. You've already taken the Kha'Zix for yourself.
Yeah, like our last game, it was Origen going very early Graves, and then they gave a last pick Kha'Zix over to Trick. Now they realized, okay, Kha'Zix is still strong, and he's very strong against us because we do get caught out a lot, so let's just take him ourselves. might not be the same when you play against G2 Esports, and that could be a big issue. There's still a lot of junglers available.
It's only the second Kazakhs that Origen have actually picked up for themselves throughout the 8 games, 9 games now that they played.
They play a lot of different things. Actually, they have tried a lot of different picks, both carries top lane, tanks top lanes, multiple different junglers. Yeah. Olaf was in there for a moment.
They are experimenting. I mean, you have to give them credit for that, but it's not the issue with compositions for them. It just seems to be always execution. That Braum is the last
it's
band,
a mix.
so they pinched
it's
out for
definitely
Eva.
A mix. It's a mix. So it could be top lane Nautilus coming in. Tanks are a thing against Jace that a lot of top laners do like to pick.
There's
but
Bard, though.
We get the potential playmaking support. I am okay risking Hiva getting caught and dying if he can land that sick ulti into a stun. So there is tools here for Origen to definitely start fights and create picks. A lot of squishy members though, and it's gonna be fine for G2 if they honestly just track the Bard and just make sure they know where he's going in the early game.
Probably pushing up in lane, if we know Hiva. It's going to be the blind lock-in of the Rumble for Expect, and then G2 have one more pick to go. It's going to be the mid for Perks. What are they going to take
I think
here?
the Rumble is actually...
excuse me, jungle.
Yeah, so Rumble could be jungle, it could be top, depending on the last pick coming in. It's going to be Rumble top, Elise jungle. G2 realizing that Origen will aim for strong early game and just say, let's match it without jungler. We can now set up ganks ourselves, and I don't think G2 is too worried about potentially getting outscaled, which is one of the problems when you pick Elise so often. We know it's going to be Jace mid against the Corki, and now it is, interestingly enough, a tank locked in against Rumble top. Not sure I agree with that one, but maybe Sartorius didn't feel like he had any sort of carries he wanted to play against Rumble. Because this is just going to give a farm lane, and then Expect team fighting presence is going to be fantastic on this Rumble against things like Varus.
It does seem a bit more mix and match on the Origen side, but for G2, I mean, that is a ridiculously strong mid-game power spike. With the way you build the lethality now, I mean, G2 could just run over Origen if they just march it up mid.
I mean, I like Origen's mid-game as well. I think mid-game on both teams is actually very strong. Should be a super action-packed game.
Yeah, it should be.
Laning phase-wise, with the Bard down the bottom lane, if Hiva is playing a good game, he can try and set up some picks here against Sven and Mithi. And also you have early game jungler from Trick. We know how active he is on the map.
Oh, yeah.
But mid-game is where it should really explode. Like, both teams have very strong mid-game spikes.
And they banked pretty heavily on Wisdom getting his hands on the Kha'Zix, so we'll see if he's able to make something happen with that one. Last time we just didn't see enough of him. As the coach shakes hand to walk off the stage once again. G2 looking to close this one out with a clean 2-0. They did it in 25 minutes last time and got 20 kills without giving up a single one.
They lost the tower, so it wasn't a perfect game.
Yeah, it was a swap. It's okay.
Shame on you, G2. Shame on
is that what Febby meant when he said they were slacking?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on. Where's your second perfect game of the season? We didn't get it. This game as well will be very hard because Origen pack a lot of damage as well.
That's true, they do. Well, we'll see how the matchup goes up top, expecting that to be the farm lane, but we'll see how it all goes in the rest of those, and then once the game breaks out in the middle, expecting a lot of action. Every time there's a rumble in the game, I get really excited because those are so pivotal. Like we saw last series, you can land that big equalizer, expect no stranger to the champion. Yeah. Origen, looking to challenge though.
I think Origen is one of my, Rumble is one of my favorite champions to look at in professional play for that exact reason. I just feel like every team fight with Rumble, it should be impactful. And then you can also laugh at the Rumble play if he completely misses the ulti. So like it's a win-win. He nails the ulti, awesome fight. He misses it, you suck, you know? It's always a win.
This is a very, very pivotal champion in that way. And Trick on this Elise right now. See if he focuses on getting those ganks off early. This is a champion that had fallen down in prominence a little bit, but the jungle pool pinched so heavily, feels confident to take it.
Funny story, Trick using SKT Elise here. When he actually played in Korea, he was subbed in against SKT in the BO3, and they managed to win it, which was one of the big upsets in that season. Sadly, then Trick was back on the bench, and Ambition came back into jungle. And no one actually knew why at that point.
Well, I think he definitely proved himself here in Europe. He got the Rookie of the Split, MVP, a couple of times after the fact.
Yeah, it's funny because about Trick, you know, when you hear people who followed LCK a lot, like closely, not just the LCK itself, but also things behind the scene. I didn't always hear talks about how Trick was a huge talent or anything. Like, people respected him a lot there and said like he had definitely potential. But then when I talked to Ocelot and G2 and they talked about finding Trick back then, they were like, yeah, this was a guy who had a lot of offers. Like, there were Korean teams who wanted to pick him up as well, but then G2 came in, they offered him obviously. a nice deal here in Europe and so on. And then he picked that over some of the other teams he had right there. So clearly there were a lot of people believing in his talent. And as soon as Trick showed up here, he was just one of the best junglers, like almost instantly.
Yeah, and
so
that does not happen all that often, and it's so risky often with the Korean imports, but
it's
definitely been one that's paid off, and it's a large part of G2's success.
And I think from their story, it really sounds like the scouting was spot on right there. Like, they knew this guy was really good. They followed him, they heard good things about him, and so on. So, really good investment. Has turned out to be one of the absolute best in Europe, honestly. Getting him over because he's, as you said, been MVP twice. And this season, he's playing well again.
So far, so good. G2 can't complain too much about their overall performance, and Trick in particular. Wisdom is going to have a hard time matching that, but he is on the Kazakhs. He does have carry potential. Wisdom as a player, though, we just haven't seen as much of that out of him for a long time.
Let's see what Trick can do. Elise wants to gank early. Bait out Valk.
Does get a connection on the Cocoon. Spiderling pokes down, as well as the Shock Blast from Perk, so they deal a little bit of damage to him, but Nahun playing a very safe game on that Corki. Wisdom getting vision down bottom with the Scuttle Crab complete. Might be an earlier game in the Dragon Pit, because there is an Infernal that is spawned first.
Good, more action. Just more action. All we want in this game, Pirates, just fights.
Well, we might see some. Ooh, Trick is a little low. Wisdom is on the hunt here, and he's going to flash for first blood. Stopped under tower, but he gets it.
All right, classic caster problem when you talk about a player and you kind of tell his story and you hype him up a little bit. Then he plays it greedy.
The curse is real, Deficio.
Curse is real. Oh, Mithy might get caught.
Uh-oh, Wisdom and Hiva incoming. They're going to turn for Sven instead. Now they go back. Mithy's exhausted. Wisdom is as well. He's stunned up. They're flashing past the team. Wisdom is so low right now, and he's going to get taken down by Perks as he tries to walk towards the rest of G2. Hiva flashing into the Dragon Pit. It has gone really messy. Another exhaust spent onto Sven. This time it's courtesy of Nahun. Summoner's blown all over the place, but at the end of the day, G2 get a kill for nothing.
I promised you action, Pyra. We are 4 minutes into the game, and we have so many flashes down now. Kill for each team as well. Mithy on a bit of a detour, took the blast cone over, and then he actually got kind of cut off. But because we had a roam for Perks, we had Sven already there, they could take the fight. Hiva has no flash now. Does have his portal though, so he's gonna be fine.
Mithy has no fear right now. Just keeps walking into Hiva, who has to take the portal out.
What happened there as well is exactly what happened to HCK in the last series. When they won the first game so easily, second game, started chilling a little bit. Like, Trick literally sees the guy right in front of him. And he's like, no, I need another Raptor here. I'm not gonna give him all 4 Raptors. Instead of just walking away and being like, all right, I'm not gonna deal with this, and he actually dies for it. Mithy with the crazy blast cone. It's all a bait here, Pyre. It's all a bait.
It is definitely a bait. The long con. I mean, Sven, he looked in trouble for a minute, but there just wasn't enough damage, and you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, but this actually also comes down to that mid lane gank Trick had before, where Nahun got poked down a little bit. Perks got to push out the lane after that. So that's why Perks could roam first and walk straight down, and Nahun joins very late.
There were so many summoners popped, like in the span of like 3 seconds. All right, so everything's gonna like quiet down for just a minute because no one can flash out of anything anymore.
Well, you say that, and he doesn't invade.
Mithy and Trick are on the move.
Some
vision down.
I love the way Tom Kench walks around.
Is that your soundtrack for it?
That's my soundtrack for him. No copyrights. You guys can all use it.
Someone out there is gonna make that a ringtone, I guarantee you. Hiva's gonna be walking into a cocoon.
Look, see, Trick has changed. From, damn, I need these Raptors, I'm gonna die for it, to, I'm not gonna go for this play. Great change. This is the well-done effect, obviously. Not tilting in game right there.
That's what you're crediting
Switching the adaptation, adapting on the fly.
I guess there's something to be said for it, but it gives Wisdom a chance to get a bit of counter jungle on right now, and he has had, that first blood.
Yeah.
A little bit of an earlier impact, so we'll see what he can do this game.
And we do actually have to praise the coaches on G2 Esports. Like, well done, Sharks, and of course, Youngbuck. They're getting a lot of praise from the players. The team is looking strong right now. Still stuff to work on, of course.
And they're looking controlled.
They're looking very controlled, yeah.
That's the important thing.
Exactly. Some people call it slacking, Peppervin. Other people say it's controlled and trying to adapt your style a little bit. Jungle matchup came up right there super quick. Sorry for slightly ignoring it. But it was basically telling us that Trick absolutely dumpstered all of Origen in last game.
Way to sum that one up in just a few seconds. Wisdom, we'll see if he has something to say about that this time around. Kiva and Tabs already stopped up under tower. Pretty big farm differential. Sven and Mithy started to turn it. Of course, Tabs has always been playing fairly back, even on winning lane matchups throughout this split so far. We have seen him be very, very passive. Against Sven and Mithy, it's hard not to be.
Yeah, Nahorn has actually been the most aggressive laner on Origen, which does reflect a bit in his CS numbers at 10 minutes. They're not actually that bad. He gets a lot of CS as well because he's trying constantly to like shove his waves and then get a bit of pressure, but sadly for him, there rarely is a lane he can actually go to and then impact, or he doesn't get a whole lot of help himself. And then he ends up like getting ganked and he dies and then he starts falling behind.
You could really see what Origen are trying to do. The Talia pick last time around. I mean, he did try to be on a lot of playmakers. We saw famously the Echo as well early on, and I believe it was week number 1. And it just hasn't panned out because of what you said. He just isn't getting a whole lot of help. He doesn't find a way to move into side lanes. But Origen aren't getting crushed in lane every game. It really is after that laning phase that things start to drop off.
Definitely is, and obviously with G2, they don't really care. Like, they don't need to win laning phase, and that's the thing we talked about before with the new coaching staff and the change to them as a team. Crepo talked about it a few days ago when he was casting G2 as well. Like, this change in mindset where it's win lane, win game might only work for you in your home region, where some of your players are some of the best in their positions, and you can just play this style and you can use it to win as many games as possible. But it doesn't matter at all if you then can't do it against some of the best teams in the world when you play MSI, when you play Worlds, these kind of things. Because then you're not going to win lane, win game. You're not going to take on like some of these top teams and just destroy them early game. So you have to force yourself to really practice this more like methodical style, this more like macro style, where you need to win games, but not just winning lane only.
I think it's a huge credit to G2 infrastructure and player-wise that they've been able to do that.
Well, let's see if it works first. Let's see if it works first. They haven't obviously qualified yet to international tournament to show if it paid off.
But it is setting them up for some big plays right now as Sartorius is going to have to go anchors away back to base. A big dive set up by G2, and they are looking to push on top tower. That macro game seems to be working well for them so far.
Yeah, good roam from Perks again on the Jace. We'll lose a bit of minutes in the mid lane. We doesn't really care because bottom lane is where his bottom lane is already recalled or backed away. Sven and Mithy, the classic move. You make a play on top side, well, they're going to make a play on the bottom side. So Sven and Mithy had already stepped away. We're not going to risk anything.
But for Origen, they're going to be able to secure themselves this Infernal Drake to start things off. That'll definitely help them the longer the game goes on. They might be down in gold by quite a bit. But under 10 minutes, they do have an Infernal.
And this is then where G2 has to be able to return to top lane and collect a reward. The one kill for Infernal Drake is not a worthy trade, but if you then go back top when the guy has no flash, no teleport, then you can then take the top lane tower and get a first tower gold, and that's then your reward a bit later. Good roam from Perks again, after killing whatever he needed to kill in the mid lane. And now we gotta see if they can return here, take that top lane tower and Sartorius down. Otherwise, technically, a fine trade for Origen.
Yeah. They're down 1,000 gold, but they can be pretty happy with the fact that they have a very critical dragon secured for themselves. So we'll see what they're able to get done with that a little bit later on in the game. There is another Infernal that'll come up, but that'll be some minutes away for sure. Origen holding strong in lanes.
And another way Origen can use that dive here to kind of snowball further is teleport. If they don't want to go top lane and kill Sartorius himself, expect just walk back to lane when Sartorius had to TP back to catch the wave. That means now you can actually make a play on the bottom side as well that Origen has to respect. So you see Origen are recalling and they're going top with the dual lane. They don't want to risk a bot lane dive where expect TPs in. So yes, Infernal Drake for Origen is a quick win, but G2 have control of the map because of that dive they executed top lane.
Yeah, they definitely have control of the tempo in this series.
And they're going to get bot lane tower probably much faster than Origen.
No problem. Wisdom's there as well.
In the end, G2 wins out.
That's exactly the way they want to play this one out. Keep it firm, keep it controlled, don't give a chance for your opponent to respond. It doesn't matter who they are. They don't mess around. And though, Expect was able to melt that minion wave, so G2 easily winning that trade.
And this is all planned. Like, none of this is just random reaction. If Origen stays bot lane with Bard and Varus, they get dove and they die and they lose first tower. If Origen swaps to top lane, Expect saves his ultis the wave, and walks away. He doesn't stay on the tower, he walks away because he knows it's going to be 4 members from Origen, and G2 takes first tower in the bot lane. Like, it's all planned out from them right here. And Origen, they just have to settle for, you know, second turret, and they have to react later. They might not even get the turret.
They are going to try to go on to Expect right now. He's got no ultimate. He gets swallowed up by Mithy, though. who stopped up for just a second, and they blow a lot as Mithy was trying to get there. Nahun around the backside, instant exhaust, Frost Bomb. Around the back is going to be Perks, though. They're going to pay for this one. Origen, they decided to go all in under tower, and they might be regretting it. Mithy's chunked down. It's a double kill for Nahun, and they're all taking the journey. But Trick is right behind them, hot on their heels, and Sven opens up the curtains. It's not even going to be needed as it's only Sartorius there. A double kill for Trick. Once again, the anchor, but he stuns him under tower, locked by the cocoon, but he's taking tower, and Sartorius gets the kill, and he dies.
Keep walking.
He stops on it.
No, he thought he had it.
You wanted action to Fish Show. We got it.
Oh, Sartorius. Walk away, man. Walk away. He was just like, I did it. I killed him. I'm going to recall here.
He didn't even BM spam.
No, maybe he was
still.
Maybe he was about to, and then he saw the snare.
Ah, you got to have quicker reaction time than that.
Slow reaction on the on the emotes.
All right, let's take a look at where we are. So Origen, for a second, they looked like they were going to grab Expect. Mithy said nope, and then all that happened. It's 12 minutes in. It's a 5K gold lead, 4.5 rather, and G2 are still in control.
Yeah, so this is the play where Expect knows he can stay around because of Mithy. Notice how Mithy waits until the knock-up from Nautilus hits before he eats Expect. Wants that CC first, and then he takes and devours him. Perks over the wall, smack right in the back of Origen, and now it is one of these fights where you can't really go anywhere as Origen because there's a tower in front of you, so Heaver's portal is everything really to get out, and Wisdom is trying to catch Mithy.
Oh, great health. And it comes Trick. Unlucky.
Not bad, not bad.
I mean, he's still pushing his weight around the map. I mean, for a 1 and 2 Kazakhs, that's not too bad right now.
Origen
just take a couple of tower shots.
Yeah, Origen is going to try and play fast. They're going to try and force G2 down on their level and just take some of these sloppy fights that can go either way. Perks is pretty damn fed, though, on this Jace with lethality.
Yeah. He's had a great game as he dodges away from the anchor of Sartorius. Origen trying to make their stand in mid and continue to push. There will be another Infernal in a minute and a half, but there's some time on the board before that. So, instead, they're just going to set up the vision for now. Pushing lane in the bottom side. Expect is easily going to be able to deal with that one. G2 are denying any tower attempts from Origen for now.
For now. Get ready, Pyro. Just relax for a moment, rest your voice, and start yelling very, very soon, because we're going to keep having big fights. We're in the mid game. We talked about it. Ghost Blades, Trinity Forces, whatever it is you want. Anything that can set up a fight, it's here.
Well, there was an equalizer, and Nahun was able to dodge it, but around the backside comes Trick and Mithy, and we don't even need to see it. That one was too R-rated for us.
Yeah.
As Hiva went down as well.
Yeah. I think Hiva maybe didn't expect anyone to be in the river. Just kind of walked that way around, wanted to portal over the wall, possibly.
Yeah,
That's a no-no. Don't do that.
When G2 are starting to 2-3 shot people, it's a little rough. And now they're on mid tower.
Taps, get away, get away!
Dodges Cocoon. Okay, the curtain call's opened up, and they don't even need it. Perks claims number 6.
You know they're coming. They just killed your bot lane. They left into the jungle. Just leave the tower, man. Just leave it.
Yikes.
It's okay. It's going to die anyway. You're just going to die with it.
Well, give some credit to Origen. They are playing better this game. They've got 4 more kills than they did that time.
Yeah, that is very true.
All right, Hiva's back at it.
Oh, Hiva.
What's he going to do?
All right, place it safe, place it safe. Wisdom
is hunting for Sven. He's isolated. He's got the bonus damage for a second, and he gets snommed by Mithy. And Nahun just can't get the damage off in time. Oh, Shock Blast hurt.
Some close ones here. Heal coming in from Sven. Just when Wisdom thought he had the kill.
So clutch, though, Mithy's Tom Kench has been. He's exactly where he needs to all the time. He arrives at precisely when he means to.
Exactly. It is easy in this kind of game. Just be with your team, run as 5, and just keep fighting.
Okay, here we go. He was around the side.
No, Hiva does
Oh, he's going to take the journey. He did let his team secure the dragon by making himself bait.
As soon as he missed the Q, just stay in the brush. All right, double Infernal, baby.
Yeah.
If Origen can extend this game, you know, like another 20 minutes.
It's going to be hard.
They're going to pay off. Sadly, it's a very long-term investment, and you're kind of losing money right now.
Yes, they are. Giving it over to G2. Big rocket. Lands onto Trick, but Mithy once again noms him up.
Their Mithy is sending a message. I'm going to let them hit you first, and then I will eat you. Classic.
The Mithy special. All right, 7-0-1. Perks is having a field day on this Jace. And with the Edge of Night now completed, he is shredding through the armor of Origen.
Well, yeah, let's actually look at that. Because obviously lethality, the change that happened to it, we talk about it all the time, but we don't actually mention the change in itself, where now 60% of it is instantly when you get it, like early game. So 60% armor penetration, basically.
Versus the 40 it used to be.
Yeah, so if you have 10 lethality right now, as soon as you have it at level 1, you get 6 armor pen. So you remove 6 armor from the enemy team. And then the rest kind of comes over time. At level 18, you then get the full amount. You have then 10 armor penetration. Now, lethality obviously are higher numbers we're dealing with. We're up in the, right now, 20, 30s when you have 2 or 3 items of them. And we're already at the point in the game where, like, level 10 on the side of Origen, well, you're past the halfway point. So right now, you're going to get, like, 80, 85% of that armor pen. And let's look at the armor on, like, taps. He's sitting on 55 armor, obviously, scaling armor on these different champions. And Perks is sitting right now on 35 lethality, if he has no runes or anything. That means he's almost dealing, down towards the true damage area. Not quite yet, not quite.
I think you can see that from the shock blast.
If he gets a Duskblade, we're getting closer then. If he has some runes as well, then we're getting even closer.
He has been very, very big this game. We're getting closer and closer to that 20-minute mark.
Actually, he does have runes. He's sitting on 58 armor pen. So right now, Perks has 58 armor penetration through his lethality. And as we said before, Taps has 55 armor.
So, yeah, that doesn't mean too much for Taps.
That's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, still trying to stack his tier right now. Poor guy as Nahun gets caught up by the cocoon. Gets licked by Mithy. And the spider explodes on him. I hate when that happens. Oh, hey, when that happens.
That's a lot of damage when you don't actually have any armor. Now, armor pen cannot put you under 0 armor. So it will just get you to 0 and stop there. It won't actually go further down and then further increase.
I think it's enough, to be honest.
I think it's enough as well. Just remove all of its damage reduction.
But another hope for Origen is that not only do they have those 2 dragons, another Infernal is spawning. Question is, can they actually contest it? Because it was close last time around.
You feel like you're ready. You're full HP. You're walking in.
Oh, speaking of walking in.
Damn, Mithy.
Okay, but he just eats up Wisdom, and Trick was right there for the Tempered Fate. Body block. Okay, they're throwing everything at it right now, but he's so low, he steps right outside of it.
He's alive.
Woo, and he makes it out.
Yeah, so you walk out of base with full HP, you feel ready to fight. 1 shock blast on one of your carries, and they're down to like 40% HP.
Yeah, he's got a hightail it back to base to heal up right now. It's going to give G2 an opportunity to open fire on this turret. He even nearly botted on that one. I mean, Trick, all he's got to do is step up with his hand cannon, and now they're just going to move towards the mid. It's only Nahun here.
Well, also no minions.
That is a problem.
They don't get it.
Okay.
I want another shock blast.
Like that. Oh, the electric, and Mithy denies. They just can't finish off any of these G2 members, and a lot of that credit to Mithy. Spec, meanwhile, still clearing away on the bottom side.
Oh, yeah, it gets even more annoying when you feel like you're finally able to get a kill, and then Tahm Kench is there. It's like, oh, come on. Only way back in the game from Origen is some crazy, crazy fights.
Well, they've been trying their hearts out right now, but they need to live through those shock blasts. Hiva takes another one, clips him in the side, and instantly halves his health bar. Tabs has got to be careful as he pushes out. Still trying to control the map best they can. 20-30 in this game, and it's getting very tense. Perks holding mid right now. Next Dragon, an option in a minute for both teams. Origen would love to have this. All 3 Infernals in a game would give them a huge edge as it goes on.
Yeah.
But as much as you can, I mean,
man,
all that can be evaporated by Perks.
If Infernal Drakes were just like flat 80 and AP gave you right now, damn, it would have some value for Origen. But the fact it is still percentage, so you need more time before it really kicks in and becomes insanely impactful. That is sadly for Origen the problem at the moment, because they've been trading those Infernals for kills and towers.
But they are not losing by nearly as much as they were. It
You're
was a
so
25-minute game last time. You know me, Deficio, you know me. They have a better chance because they've been able to pick those up, because they've been able to take a few fights and get a few kills. But you're right, it is so monumental to try and claw this one back. I feel, though, if they can shut down Perks, that eliminates a lot of the damage on this G2 side. Expect still got it, but if they can find a pick, they might just be able to do it.
Yeah, well, G2 might pull an H2K here and start having some of these fights where they overextend, and then suddenly the game becomes very, very close. Can definitely happen.
Yeah, we haven't seen it much from them this split, though. I mean, that's a huge thing for them.
It might be around this Infernal Drake.
We'll see.
Right
Teleport
now.
already coming in for the Rumble. Expectus coming in. Wisdom waiting in that brush, sends the Void Spikes, dodges the Cocoon. Dragon's not started yet. Everybody is coming to the party.
Oh, that was one spider.
Okay, they find Mithy, and it's Nahun who gets caught. The curtain call opens up, and they just blow through everybody and make it look easy. Nahun and Hiva are down, and G2 say thank you very much.
Satoris didn't even get to teleport. He was like, I'm ready, guys. How do we engage here? Is it Bard ulti? Is it Varus ulti? How do we start the fight? And bam! 2 guys are dead.
All right. Remember what I was saying about how there's a chance?
I mean, yeah, I do.
It's smaller now.
You're 100% correct, Pyro. It is definitely smaller. Then again, for Origen to actually take down G2 is, of course, very, very hard doing this. And I mean, that's the thing, if you're Origen right now, you need to find wins somewhere. You can't just lose every game and then go into promotion tournament. It is obviously not against Unicorns, against G2, against HK. Those are not the teams you're looking at. You're looking at Giants, you're looking at Rocket, you're looking at Vitality even the next time you play them. The teams just around you in the standings who have also shown a lot of weaknesses, a lot of inconsistencies. And you're hoping they have a really bad day and you have a good day, and then boom, suddenly you pick up a 2-1 or 2-0. And that can be huge, because you are right now just fighting against the teams in your group to avoid promotion tournament. The one spider already dealt too much damage for it to be fair.
And then Sven's just able to snipe down Hiva after the fact. And the cooldowns are low enough for G2 to get away with this over and over again. So unfortunately for Origen, they didn't really have much of a chance. But as you said, this is the team. This is not the team they need to beat for sure. Let's see what they can take away. It's 23-30 on the game clock. 10K gold differential. Been a lot of Infernal Dragons, and we have had a lot of action, that's for sure. And you've got to give some kudos to Origen for continuing to fight it out. They're playing with a lot more heart this game than we saw the last time around. But it is just so tough for this team.
68 armor penetration now from Perks, the lethality doing wonders for him. Tabs is currently sitting on 62 armor, so we're still back to him basically not being able to get any sort of damage reduction from it.
No, and he's still working towards the second item as well. I mean, he's been set so far behind. It's something we haven't tracked as much throughout this game, but he's 2,000 gold behind Sven this time around. I mean, that just kind of tells you how they've not been able to get that many resources. No towers in this game to the 4 that G2 have gotten.
But Infernal Drakes.
Yeah, but they don't always translate to gold, right? That's a long-term investment, not an immediate payoff.
Exactly.
Economics 101, Deficio.
It's true. I think I said that earlier and you stole it from me.
I totally learned the lesson and then tried to teach it back to you.
But it worked.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well,
Origen will have nightmares of this Jace right here. Sven, let's see if we can hit it.
Okay, Hiva is going to be able to not stop that curtain call, and now the tower is going to be G2's once again. That is number 5 for them, and they're looking to open up the base. Tabs and Hiva incredibly low. Sven stepping forward. He has no fear this game. So Origen are finding it harder and harder to fight back.
And as it looks like G2 can close this out, get the 2-0 victory. They will stay undefeated after week 4. Unicorns or Love are still undefeated as well after week 4. And they play each other on Thursday. And that game is going to be insane. Both teams undefeated, different styles. You have the more calm and collective one on G2, and you have the crazy team fighting on the side of Unicorns.
I think it's going to be a battle for who can control the tempo of that game for sure. Big test for G2 coming up, but they're looking on track to close this one out.
I love that because I've been watching a lot of playoffs of the NFL, and that's a classic comment from their commentators as well.
I've been watching it as well. Where do you think I got it from?
Yeah, exactly. Good old Joe Buck always talks about
you had to bring
tempo,
that one out.
the tempo. You got to control the pace of the game. You got to throw a bit more.
All right, but let's not talk about the NFL. We're here in Europe right now as Wisdom is getting fired down. Hiva trying to make a play on the backside, Meep slap in the back of Sven's head, but it is not enough damage. Tabs trying to 2-step, Nahun tagging in. They lose 1. It is Wisdom, so the damage is a little reduced right now. Origen still trying to hang tough, and Tabs is just having such a hard time right now. He's only 0-2, and like it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, I think everyone on Origen is having a hard time. G2 right now.
I love this mirror build between Perks and Sven.
Yeah, just the boots. What a problem. That's poor coaching. That's a big mistake.
They almost got their matching today. Well, there's still plenty of time to review. and fix some things. Minor corrections.
The big notes Youngbuck is writing down here.
I mean, we joke about it, but in all honesty, there's so little to criticize G2 for, not just in this series, but in this entire split so far.
Well, in this series, but go back to the H2K game. They lost the game as well there. They did struggle a bit. So let's not paint a picture where it's like perfect for G2 so far. It's not perfect for any team in Europe, not any team in North America either. There are very few teams, like even SKT is just lost. Yeah, KT probably can be very happy with their recent performance, but like I feel like there are still so many things that every team wants to work on. Some teams just have less to work on than others, but we're still early on in the spring split. It would be weird if someone were actually perfect already.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to consider. It's only the end of week 4 right now. We've only just begun cross-group play, and that's where things get really interesting, but there's so much more to play out. Wisdom and Nahun, we're going to try to get a pick off onto Trick. Nahun trying to make himself look tasty. The rest of G2's playing up topside, though, and you can see the vision is all theirs. Origen have had a hard time just getting outside of their base lately. Eva's going to get tagged up by the tongue. Wisdom looking to go in, but he gets cocooned in the back of the head instead. And now the curtain call is opened up once again. Trick sinking the fangs in. Not enough to finish the job, and the curtain call doesn't do it either, but Origen are low, and Sven blows away the bug.
And he died too, by the way. He was in the front line.
He did.
He was in the front line. He went down.
Thank you for picking me up after that one. Eva has not been able to survive a whole lot this game.
I've also realized now that we have this cross-group play here coming into week 4, we actually have very few upsets overall in the EULCS because the top ranked teams in each group, Group A, Group B, so that's Group A is G2 Misfits and Group B Fnatic, Unicorns of Love and H2K. Whenever they play teams under them, they've made sure that it's pretty clean, and it's often pretty one-sided as well. We haven't seen these big upsets, also because it's BO3 now. So there is a bigger chance that the best team actually ends up winning in the end, despite losing 1 or 2 games. Or lose 1 game, not 2 games. That'd be too much. How did Wisdom actually die in the end? Oh, okay, that one.
Just one big shot from Sven.
Maybe shouldn't have recalled there.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was there was plain vision, and it was pretty easy to just line up the Deadly Flourish, but Sven has had a great game too. A little quieter than what Perks was bringing out, but the lethality has been doing a lot of work right now, and G2, they're a well-oiled machine right now, moving themselves forward to close this one out. 16-4 in kills. It's taken a little longer. Last game, much more thorough stomp from them. Nonetheless, they'll be happy to pick up the victory.
Yeah, they had the 10k goal lead at 20 minutes. Not exactly the same right now. Perks, nice damage.
Yeah, that's more than twice anyone else on his team, or in the game.
In the game, yeah.
He's doing work. I mean, he got off to a great start, but holy moly. There's a reason that Jace gets Vandal out. Wisdom tries to hop forward to make a play, realizes it's not happening. He's got to back out once again. G2 once again trying to close this out. OG still offering resistance, but it is getting harder and harder for them to push back.
Oh, good for Satorius. He actually missed it. He probably have died instantly.
I agree with you, but that is not a hopeful thing. Curtain calls just keep on flying. The last shot hits tabs, another Deadly Flourish, and he stays alive by the grace of the heal, but the base is going to be in shambles here. And Leduc is unfortunate. Can't be pretty happy today, but all the same, you can't really have expected too much more. Origen trying what they can, but G2 are just too strong. The Kings of Europe will not let something go easily.
No, and once again, as soon as we got out of the early game, where Origen were getting a few things, then G2 was just taking full control like this. But no other kills for Origen, no towers still. Haven't gotten another Drake either. So in that sense, obviously, slightly less one-sided than the first game, but like, who cares at this point? You're super far ahead, you're stomping them.
And this is the way G2 want to play it. I mean, they finished it out so early and so easily last time. We didn't really see the spike up that happens at 25, 30 minutes into the game because we didn't get to that point. But now they're just having a field day, and it's pretty easy to see that they're going to be able to take this one out no problem.
Satorius with the flank.
Let's see if he can get something done. Chains aren't going to land.
Missed everything.
Not going to do it.
He's walking away, guys.
They keep on trying, but unfortunately there just is too little. There just is too late. Satorius is surrounded by G2, and Perks with a legendary kill, and that about sums up this game.
Trick game 1, going crazy. Perks game 2, going crazy. Sven trying his best as well.
Wisdom gonna have to flash away. Tabs is gonna follow him. There's nowhere to go but base.
Ulti.
Ulti's on the fountain. And down goes Wisdom. G2 looking to finish this one off. It is nothing but Nexus turrets coming up. And they've got super minions, Baron empowered minions pushing all across the way. But they're not going to finish it just yet.
No. They're going to delay it. Going to delay it a bit. 20 kills again. Seems to be the theme for G2. We will get that one little push in with a million super minions. Tons of Fed members. I don't think Perkz will allow Trick to have gotten more kills in game 1 than Perkz is getting in game 2. Knowing Perkz as a person, that is actually what he's thinking right now. He needs to make sure he gets more than Trick. I think Trick had 10 kills.
So he needs to add a little bit up for himself.
I'm pretty sure Perkz can get it.
Well, we'll see. Speaking of getting it, Sun's having an easy time on the Cloud Dragon, so they'll move a little bit quicker. Just to finish it off. They own the map, they own everything, but let's take a look once again at how they just continued to force their way into the base of Origen.
It's just a montage of Origen dying, basically, at the moment. Missed everything there. Sartorius was trying to set up a flank.
You see the exact moment where he just goes, nope, turns around. And
I'm sorry. I didn't let you mean it.
He gets scoped himself. Ah, it's rough.
It is rough. But again, we've said it already. I think at this point, Origen can't really care too much about the game because they are so far down and they know they're playing against G2. I just want to see for them because next week it's Misfits. That's going to be tough. Or is it Misfits? It's Fnatic, sorry. That is a game
then
where,
they got Misfits.
You know, with Fnatic, we might see Origen be able to do something in the early to mid game. And then it's Misfits after that. It's going to be tough.
Oh, Wisdom getting blown up. Pretty easy to see.
Where's the Perkz kills?
Oh, my goodness. Sven in the back just sniping away for the rest of them. One more shot is not going to connect. They don't need the kills just right now. Perkz definitely wants him to see if he can get the dive on. Trick just goes golden on the steps of the fountain. Sven's still pecking away in the back, and they're just letting the minions do the job.
Oh, Perkz, get in there!
Lined up, Sven gets exhausted. And that's going to be it. That's going to be game over.
Come on, Perkz, you need it.
22 kills, and they're still looking for a couple more, but the Nexus falls. G2 making it look easy.
Definitely agree. One of the easiest predictions ever. Saying 2-0 G2 Esports in this match. As expected, when you have the champions versus Origen here, who's trying their best to kind of pick up something, but they're not even close, which is a problem for them. And I don't think there's any news stories there about them and their struggles.
Definitely continue. But against G2, there's not a lot most teams can hope for. And they could be pretty happy that they've continued their undefeated streak to go up next week against the Unicorns of Love. That is going to be such a hell of a matchup.
And now, basically, we just look towards next week. Like, this is our first week of cross-group play. I think we've actually had some really fun series to look at. We've seen the top teams in each group pick up wins. None of them have dropped the ball all of a sudden. It was really quite expected. I feel like if you kind of predicted the favorite to win every match coming into this week, you've got almost every prediction right. Yeah. And that is something in Europe is not always the case.
But with best of threes, we see sometimes teams can drop games a little bit. Sometimes they get a little hype. We saw in the previous series, of course.
Yeah, you dropped the one game, but
looking
then
like
you
it could happen,
next.
yeah. And I mean, that's part of an advantage of it. You can sometimes see, oh, that didn't work, even if they can't come back and close it out, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't. But G2, I mean, there was no point that they were out of control of the game. 1 or 2 catches, maybe. Trick got caught early on when he was trying to do the Raptors.
But he was so greedy.
You gotta have one.
He was so greedy.
You gotta have
Raptors.
one. Yeah, a lot of learning to do still for this Origen squad, but there's still hope that they can pick up some wins against some of these other teams that are also struggling.
It just has to be against the other bottom teams. Like Rocket lost today. Look better though than what Origen showed right now.
That's true.
So that is obviously something to look for. But they have to face each other before we can really see who is actually the weakest or the best of the two teams.
Well, we know that one of the best, at the very least, is the reigning kings of Europe, G2 Esports.
I like how there's a theme with the coaches, blue suits, and then Weldon steps in with the black suit and ruins it all. Man, come on, they're all doing blue.
We talked about the coordination. I mean, the AD carry in the mid, they had different boots and everything.
Yeah,
they got to step up their fashion game.
Some issues there.
Oh, well. You can't be perfect 100% of the time to Fisio.
No,
I know it's hard for you to imagine.
Yeah,
Off the riff, that is.
I know. So awful. I think actually we have a replay we want to show.
Yeah, let's take back a look at
if you didn't
11
see
minutes
enough
into
kills,
this game.
if you didn't see enough kills or fights,
there was a lot of stuff that changed very quickly, and this was Origen thinking they were going to be able to get the pick off onto Expect.
But look at the Beast Devour from Mithy after the CC has already landed, so he doesn't get knocked up himself. And then Perkz, this is actually where it started for Perkz, I believe. Really getting super fed. He got a 1 kill before this, gets another one, goes ham. And this kind of showed the entire game, I feel like. Origen trying, force the fight.
Nahan did get 2 kills out of it, but
died.
the problem is they just didn't have the damage to finish it in time, and then you could see the cleanup was pretty much all they needed.
I want to see the Sartorius one.
There we go.
All right, all right.
Keep it going.
Come on.
He's out, he's out, he's
He
out.
gets it. And he's like, yeah, I killed him. Emote spam right there.
And he stops.
No!
Ooh. Yeah, that one kind of hurt.
Decided the entire game, honestly. Decided the entire game.
Well, Perks really stepped up so much for that game because he got those kills early and he just kept rolling on them. And maybe he was just trying to compete with Trick for the kills overall. I mean,
Trick won, though.
There's so many weapons on the side of this G2 Esports squad. You get some good ones. Every single time. If it's not one, it's the other. I mean, they had a lot of damage in that composition.
I just want to watch G2 versus Unicorns next week.
It can't come soon enough for you, can it?
That's what I'm looking at right now. 2 undefeated teams facing each other, different styles. We talked about it already. I really want to see if this new approach for G2 will pay off, because they used to play a little bit like the Unicorns do, like where they force a lot of players to play very fast pace in the early game.
Yeah.
That was at least the style they had in the spring split. Summer split, it changed a bit when Mithy and Sven joined, but it was still very focused on getting early advantages, which didn't happen on the international stage, and then things just fell apart.
Absolutely. But we got to dial in, though, on who we think performed the best overall. And for the player of the series, I guess somebody has to win out between Perks and Trick. It's going to be Perks.
Yeah,
he managed it.
I think we could have picked almost any player on G2 right here, because they've just been stomping
Mithy was
Origen.
saving people's lives left and right. I mean, it depends on how you actually calculate it, right? Like,
Perks
the life
gets it,
savers
though.
and kills. Perks managed it this time around.
Last game, he was part of everything, absolutely everything. Like, won his lane.
He did pretty solid in the first game, too.
Yeah, of course he did. Like, first game was great, too. I think this is Jay's performance was really good. Trick at the Kha'Zix, I mean, they were all great.
Easy peasy for them, so they close out, once again, continuing to be undefeated. Now, with our final game of the week on the books, it's time to load into the post-game lobby. Take it away.
Welcome everybody to the post-game lobby, where I'm joined by Creppo, HUK's Febiven, and G2's Perks to take a look back on the week that was. And if we start by the last matches of the day, you're both victorious, and you guys are both player of the series here today on Saturday. You guys beat Roccat.
We are so good.
And you guys beat OG. Obviously, it wasn't the hardest matchups, Perks. How do you reflect on your performance today? Because it's still important that you close those games out and not flounder, let's say, in the second game, like H2K versus Roccat.
Well, our performance today was really clean game 1. I think game 2, there's like, we could have made it much cleaner. Just some people got a bit excited. So I think we'll work on it for the future, but I think our performance today was like a test. If we can see if we can like pull out our consistent performance versus like a lower tier team, which we should be able to. And I think we passed the test, so we need to be ready for Unicorns next week.
Yeah, that'll be a very big matchup. Febiven was saying the same thing, that it's about like testing if you can close it out, and sometimes it's easy to kind of lose control when you go up against a easier opponent.
Yeah, we had kind of throws sometimes. Like first game, we gave Betsy a call kill when we said we should back, but we still go. Then the other game, we just...
Betsy's just too good.
We just inted it, and Betsy is so good.
So that happens. You guys did both win today, and this week was the first time we saw teams from groups A and B battle against each other. We saw some standout performances, and the first one we want to talk about again is G2 versus H2K on the very first day. G2 went out, but it was a very close one, so I'd like to hear...
I was playing first time Azir against Perks, because I knew it was easy win, so...
Doesn't matter what I like to hear.
Well, it was a really easy win. I didn't even feel the pressure this series.
Not at all?
No, not a tiny bit pressure. I think Milan was crumbling.
Okay, Perks then.
Is that why you missed all the Orioles, or?
No, it's for pressure.
For pressure?
Yeah, look at Mariana now.
I think
Febiven
also didn't feel too much pressure sometimes.
Wait for it. Mariana is coming, and he's coming, and...
And Perks getting not
he's
attacking
coming,
the whole team fight.
and he's coming. And he's coming.
And
oh
my
shit, that
God,
Oriana.
You catch me so good.
Yeah, obviously very excited. So on a more serious note, Perks, can you say 2 or 3 things that you were impressed with H2K, or you think that they played very well in this series?
This game I was zero health.
Okay.
And
why?
because Febiven was too good on Rise.
Because Febiven was good. See, that's one.
Actually, I was so good at the game.
And I think actually HTK surprised me. They were pretty good. They just rolled over us in the game 2, and I didn't know what was happening. Besides my Nexus falling down at 20 minutes, and but it didn't matter because we just reset for game 3 and went again, and then they were good in game 3 too. But of course, they were not playing really clean either. So.
Most impressive part was still, I think, Jankos and the HK bot lane. I think Jankos had a really nice gank there in that game 3.
And Nuclear
if I was
and
the Rise,
Chain.
I would have carried alone.
If you were Rise, you would.
I was
Okay,
any
so
Rise,
can
I
you
would
tell
carry.
me how do I carry this team fight? Just analyze it for me, yeah?
Let me see. Oh, the Rise is boosted.
I can kill the Sivir here, but that's it.
I mean, this is
Rise,
actually a
not hitting
winnable
team
fight.
guys. Look at the Rise.
This is a very
I could
winnable
have
fight.
killed Sivir, but then I couldn't kill anyone because my team was dead. So
It's actually unfortunate by Che that he
Yeah.
used Devour there, because he ended up actually buying a lot of time for G2.
That's true.
As
But
opposed-
we were analyzing the replay, and I had exhaust. So I think if Jhin flashed over, like I would exhaust the Jhin, and then my team would be there in time, and then Tam would eat the Jhin, and they were still in really bad position. So they would most likely die anyways. I think it was just like overzealous sketch by them.
yeah, I
But-
didn't really agree with that call, to be honest.
So blame Jankos, guys.
All right, so I heard one thing. I asked you one good thing about HK in the series. You said that Febiven played really, really well. So you can also say something that impressed you about G2 in that series now. Seriously?
I feel like they play like really well, like patiently. Like they don't get like stressed or anything. It feels like they play really slow and like calm, and it's something we're really bad at. We are really rushing things a lot, and yeah, that's one thing they do really good. And
Yeah.
also the individual players are just really good.
Yeah, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think HGK has shown a lot of strength in terms of like first objectives. They have a really high like first turret rate, first dragon, first blood overall as well. But definitely there's always that one play, whether it's a late game fight where they overchase or a pickoff where they do go too deep. I think HGK would fare well if they learn how to kind of call off a play and just reset. And then I think Baron Vision is the next thing to improve on. For G2, I would like to see them play a bit more aggressively still. I think you can overshoot in terms of aggression last year and undershoot now, but I think there's
I
a
agree.
balance in between.
He agrees.
We are just looking for the perfect balance, right now. We are playing control, and maybe in some weeks after playing unicorns and getting stomped by unicorns, you will go full aggro,
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that matchup next week as we see some of your teammates meeting some of the fans. And we go over to Misfits versus Splice, which caught some of us off guard thinking that it was going to be 3 games, a close matchup. But Misfits turned out to exceed our expectations. Febiven, what do you think of the team?
I think Misfits is just like really good right now, like especially their jungler. I think like the jungler and support are basically carrying the team with the top laner, and I know Splice is really underperforming in LCS. Like in scrims, actually play really well, but on
I agree.
stage it's just they feel like this steal, like for example, this cannot happen. Like I don't know, just missed calls all the time and just not good performances.
So why do you think that is when they're a team that have stuck together? Perks maybe, they've stuck together, they've trained with the same people for the whole time in the same system, so...
It might be that just last year that the teams were worse, so they were like shining through, and now there is a lot more like potential lineups and just better lineups than last year. And that might be the reason why they are struggling, or the other reason might be like some underperforming individually, or yeah, I don't see any other reason.
Yeah, we could see last year's strengths from Splice was that they had like really good team play with okay individual players. Eventually they were rated like among the top, but they were never distinctively like top 1, top 2 in their role. I think maybe Wunder you could argue last year.
Yeah, maybe.
But this year a lot more
Gnar.
competitions coming in. Yeah, Wunder and Gnar, 5 games.
Wunder now was like fake now,
Fantastic. Well, we'll see what happens with Splice, and at the end of 4 weeks of competition here in the spring split, let's see how the teams look after our first weekend of cross-group play. G2 Esports is #1 in Group A, 6-0, followed by Misfits and Fnatic. In Group B, UOL, and then H2K in second, and Unicorns of Love. G2 Esports will be what we'll be kicking off with next week. What a fantastic matchups. How scared are you of the Unicorns?
Fear their horns, guys. That's all I can say.
Fear their horns.
I don't know. I think I'm not honestly scared because if we lose, then it's just a good sign for us that we can improve even more, I wouldn't.
Wow.
I mean, I would like to win, obviously, but I would not cry to my bed if I lose to them because they're actually pretty good right now. So maybe we can like learn a thing or two of them. And maybe we can win and learn a thing or two. Is pretty good too. But it's gonna be an interesting match. Nevertheless, I really hope that we don't get rolled over like versus H2K game 2, and then I think we have a really good shot.
All right, we'll see what happens. Well, we're going to take a closer look at the teams play and some of the players to watch with our guests. So if you're joining us in client, load up youtube.com/LOLesports for the extended edition of the post-game lobby. Right, but we can keep talking. Whew, there we go. You guys are pretty active. I think you're happy with your wins and maybe happy that the first week of cross-group play has come to an end. How much different was it now to prepare for kind of a team in a group that you actually might have more information on, because those are the teams that you scrim more often than not, or not?
Yeah, we actually scrimmed, like Rocket, for example, we scrimmed them 1 week ago, and we played like 5 games in a row, and you can just get so much out of that. But generally, you just play all the teams like a lot anyway. Like it's not like you don't scrim. Like you scrim every team basically, not as much, but yeah.
Is that in scrim culture? Is it also shown the fact that you guys are deciding to take it a bit more slow and maybe play more calculated as a team, Perks? Is that something that Blues do?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that we worked on this year, so much more than last year. Like for us, for example, we don't FF in scrims. Like we play until our Nexus falls, literally. Like we pause in last second. So I think we've like actually learned to come back and play better as a team because of that. So. And I think about scrim, what Fabian said, I think it's like same as last year. Like you just don't scrim the teams you play next week. And like for example, we scrimmed H2K 1.5 weeks ago, like before this week. So, and it's just you choose what teams you want to scrim from your group too, you know. Like for example, we play Fnatic in week 10, so we can scrim them too, you know. And scrims, I think some teams in Europe still have to like take the scrims more serious. Like I don't know. Not being late or not FFing in 10 minutes.
Or in feeding.
Or in feeding on mid lane, dying level 3 every game.
Me? No, you did.
Yeah, I can do that too, yeah, sometimes.
Is there still a lot of like random breaks that are unplanned in scrims? I remember from my time where people would randomly go like, oh yeah, one of our players has to have dinner now, and suddenly the scrim is delayed. Like those things hopefully have been solved.
No,
now.
that happened last split, and then we didn't scrim the team again because you don't have a dinner after game 2 randomly, you know. But yeah, that's not happening anymore.
And how about the distribution? Is it one best of 5 or the full 5 games, or is it double best of 3? What's the kind of European scrim culture right now?
I'm not sure about everything, but for us, we like to do like one best of 3, food break, and then second best of 3.
You played out.
I mean, 3 games. We played 3 games, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's better as well. Like unless when you start getting to best of 5s, you want to do best of like 5 games in a row. But now I think it's 3-3 is better. You play one more game. So.
Is it about building up like endurance and like brain and concentration and all that as well? Is it a big shift?
Like 6 games on one day is actually a lot. Like for example, 1 week ago we lost 5 games in a row, and then like your mental is like it's like really. It's like low, of course. Like if you play 5 games really serious and you lose, then
nice
mindset. It's really hard.
It's similar to casters, actually.
Yeah, go lose 5 games in a row, yeah?
Oh, I know what it feels like losing 5 games in a row. I'll try really hard.
Losing scrims or not, your teams are both doing very good in the standings. You guys are aiming for that #1 position, obviously, in Group B. And we have seen that Nuclear and Che had a really, really good performance. So as to your team, do you feel like the communication has vastly improved with them and the rest of the team since this week?
Yeah, like the communication is just increasing all the time because we got English teacher now as well. So they're learning English like 3 to 4 times per week and for like 2 hours. And we try to speak as much as possible to them so they get more comfortable and speak, and some bad words here and there, but it's fine.
Some bad words? Don't teach them any bad things. Well, you guys obviously also have IEM coming up in 2 weeks. How are you looking towards that? It's a unique chance to get some international practice in between the European teams.
Yeah, I'm just really looking forward, like just another experience, like learning experience for us, international, playing against other regions, and just learning experience, and maybe we can even win it, hopefully.
We'll see. I think you might have a chance, or is that just my bias talking, probably?
No, we can win.
Okay.
I'm calling H2K versus Unicorns finals.
Fantastic. I'll take it. Yeah. You guys still have to sit out.
Pick.
No, I'm not sure about that, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Perks, if you guys would go to IEM, would you also win?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how good the teams are from.
You're a changed man.
I don't even know who's coming.
Of course.
Nice research.
Yeah. In any case, I also want to talk a bit about you guys' performance personally, because it was quite interesting. We were talking before about the fact that like you guys both have kind of the same path, that you first started off really aggressively, then you make a conscious choice to learn more about the macro and other things about the game. Perks has said this as well. So
yeah, it's really cool to see. So like you have 2015 Febiven, who was good. 2016 Febiven, who was, in my opinion, not so good.
I agree.
You had 2016 Spring Perks, who was insane player, but then you have 2016 Summer Perks, who
That's a nice win, by the way. I was really good in summer. But yeah.
Who was not so great. But now 2017, what's going to happen? Is 2017 Caps going to beat you all? Or? But seriously, like, do you feel the progression from coming in being super aggressive, then going through like the whole macro phase, and then finding the middle ground? Febiven, you've gone through it. Do you think Perks is like doing something similar now?
Yeah, I feel like if I compare like his screenplay with like his competitive play, I feel like he plays more safe. I mean, everyone does it. It's just there's too much difference. I feel like, but as he said, he's trying to balance it out. So
I think before I would not play same in scrims on stage, or like I would try more aggressive play, or like I don't know. I would just troll. I actually no, I would not troll, but I would not take scrims as serious, you know. But after like Korean bootcamp, we took every scrim really serious, and I really liked it, and everyone from my team took it really serious. So you're like, oh, this is really good practice, so we should do it the whole year next year. And now I feel like we are improving at a very fast rate, and that my play is improving at, or not improving, just being really consistent, because I play the same in scrims as I play on stage. Like I barely take risks, and I mean, when I take risk, I take it consciously and not stupid.
yeah, it's like if, for example, I was playing against Perks in Scrim and then we play like Katarina against Zed and then one of us dies 1v1 and then the guy just keeps dying. You know?
Yeah, that was
and
a
this
fun
is what
game.
you don't want to have in the scrims because
That was one game which I did not play like in stage.
yeah.
But the thing a lot of fans out there or may not realize is the whole reason that you want it as consistent is because if you're another player that has to interact with these roles, it's very hard for your jungler to get a gauge of your power level when your
Yeah.
mid's either 10-0 or 0-10.
Exactly.
Or item spikes or team fight comps that spike on a certain time. Like you will spike much faster because the overall gold gains in scrims is much higher because there's just so much chaos. Which is now one of the strengths of the unicorns is that they play the chaotic style that they play in scrims so well on stage. But there's definitely something to be said for playing more, at least similar between scrims and stage.
Yeah,
I agree.
thought that was a very good insight. Actually.
Yeah, I like have
You
a little
do
bit
have
of trolling in scrims, but yeah.
Talk about you two guys, and then looking at the other mids in the landscape. Power of Evil is someone that has really caught our eye. Last year, he wasn't very good. He didn't perform very well. We don't know if it was due to the circumstances or this or that. But this year, he's spoken out, and his team has spoken out the fact that he feels much better within the other players in the team setup. We think he's doing a lot better. What is your opinion of him?
You can go first.
I see both of them smiling.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think he's really good like on his champions like Oriana, Casio, like he's good champions like Corki, stuff like this, but honestly I think that you can put any mid lane player in the team and he will still like do well like as he does. I don't think he's like a really spectacular player, but he's really consistent and like just plays well, doesn't feed, just plays good, and he's better than last year for sure.
For sure, we've seen that. Do you want to add something, or do you want to talk about someone else?
I've praised Powerwheel because I think he's been all better this year than last year. Like last year, I got some free wins from him here and there, but this year he's actually been like pretty good. He doesn't like get out pressured super hard, and he just plays smart with his team. I don't know, he's just good. But it's what Fabian said. I think like he's really good on his champs, Corki, Syndrak, Oriana, and I want to see him play a lot more champion. I mean, I don't care as long as they shouldn't care as long as they're winning. But what if like meta changes or something, and then they might have a problem, But as of now, I think he's really good, and if he can keep that up and learn more champions, he's gonna be good too.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because that is something that we criticized him for being champion pool before, even though he said it wasn't particularly a problem, but it's shifted and he's doing better. So
I mean, right now it's good for him to be a role player. If Misfits don't need him to carry, it's the same with Hansama. Everybody came in like, oh, Hansama is the most looked at prodigy, but in essence, all he has to do is kind of play safe because Ignar and Kakao have a really good synergy style thing going on where Ignar leaves lane a lot or Hansama pops off, but only on Draven when he's like really being catered around, and that's fine. Like, there's a lot of value in a player that knows not to try to be a hero as well. Because when all three lanes want to be a hero, you get exactly what that scrim culture is, where people overextend. So we need to see if Misfits, when they get tested, whether Power of Evil can actually do more. Because we actually haven't seen them truly get tested in like different comps.
that's true. Who wants to be the hero on H2K and G2 respectively?
I cared last year, but I don't care now. Now I'm just a team player. I'm completely changed, man.
That's smirk though.
Of course, I want to play as best as possible, but I don't have to get the praise for it. Like, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Same. I try to play my role as perfect as I can, like controlled perfect. I don't make mistakes, or I try to not make mistakes. And like when we were behind versus H2K and I play Jace, I tried to make something happen because I felt like we were losing really hard. So I was like just trying to flash on the 10-0 Jhin every time and try to kill him. And if it works, works. If it doesn't work, he's like 1 HP at least, So I just try to play my role how I think should be played.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because someone who's at the beginning of that arc we were talking about before is Caps, and also Fnatic just put a lot of, not pressure, I would say trust. They give a lot of trust to him because they let him pick the Katarina, they let him pick that Camille mid, they let him pick those matchups, and he goes ham, he goes balls to the wall in all of those, and sometimes it goes bad, and sometimes it goes good. So what is your opinion on Fnatic letting him do that, and where do you want to see him progress?
I think like champs like Katarina, Camille and stuff is more like skim champs. I'm pretty sure when he plays in skims, he gets like 5 kills in before 10 minutes. So I think he just doesn't have enough experience yet, like with the champions. Like he just has to get punished more, and then he will learn from it. Like I'm pretty sure he can learn how to play like good control mages and just do well instead of like playing a snowball style every game.
But should your coach tell you to, or help you learn, or should?
Yeah, I mean everyone should.
Yeah.
I agree with what he said. I think with some time he will learn to just become more stable and reliable player and not go for flashy plays or flashy ways of winning the game. Like me picking Zed in spring finals. I remember when it was so horrible, and we won unluckily, you know, because I didn't get punished enough for my Zed pick. But it's like something that he will learn too. So yeah.
I think you see it a lot on Fnatic. I think a team that is winning some and losing some, but has high expectations on them, may actually default to picks like that, because when you really want to win scrims, you start playing just more all in lane. I think we saw something similar for Jez. It's a large like leap to assume, but when you see him upgrade like his support item to tier 2 before even buying Sightstone on like a Malzahar.
That tilts you.
No, it doesn't tilt me, but it's indicative that you're playing so hard for lane. But then when the whole swap lane meta is going on, where you don't actually interact with any enemy champions, and then you get outwarded to the extreme by
But
the
he's
enemy
just
support.
the best 2v2 laner.
Yeah,
Careful.
but
So-
that's where
So,
like
of
it's a
course,
bit of
he's
a
playing
meme
that
right
item.
now. But that's where that mentality comes from, where you're like, of course you're winning 2v2. When you cater your style and your aggression and your risk taking around pure dueling, then you may fall in the pitfall when somebody neutralizes that in LCS, plays purely vision and controlled, kind of the style that G2 want to go for. Like, have fun going all in then, because you'll be predicted.
So what you're saying is Broxah won't fix everything that needs to be fixed.
I don't think
in Fnatic.
anybody ever thought Rockstar would fix everything. Fnatic's main communication, for me, from watching the VODs before Amazing's departure, a lot of the communication issues lie between jungler and support and setting up the vision. If Broxah is a very communicative player and actually, I don't know, maybe more of an alpha and just like tells people what to do, then maybe he fixes their vision, right? And then a lot of pressure stems from that, because when they play 1-3-1 and you don't have vision, you guys know how hard it is to play on a side lane without any vision. Like, you will get caught.
Yeah, I remember Fnatic's game versus Misfits.
Yeah.
When they had
Zed?
Zed and Shen.
Yeah, no vision.
They were 4K up and they had the most free win ever, but they lost. So and then I was really disappointed with their performance after that.
Yeah,
so.
and not a single time during that game, Jesus and Amazing actually worked together to get vision. Amazing was invading alone with no wards. Jesus was playing somewhere else, and that's not to discredit any of their individual players. It's just as a unit, Fnatic was not playing well enough towards their win conditions.
Are they ever catching up to Misfits?
They can. There's like 6 more weeks before playoffs.
Yeah, but come on, play the game with me. Do you think that they can progress more than the Misfits can this split?
I think it's possible. No, like, what do you want? Like,
I don't
if
know.
I had a future ball and played a lottery, you know, I wouldn't be here. Like, I'd be dirty rich right now. But
Okay, never mind. Let's take a look at the player of the game, or player of the series, rather, leaderboard. I don't know if any of the two gentlemen here are, in a moment it's coming, but I know who's number 1. It's Jankos. There we go.
Jankos is so good.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Jungle is really balanced role.
And then, well, 2 Unicorns of Love players in there and 2 G2 players, 1 Splice and 1 Misfits. It's pretty balanced overall, I would say.
Actually,
I don't think
my jungler is so good, no? Look at him. He's the only jungler up here.
he had a really good path on Rek'Sai, though, to get that first spot in Game 3.
Yeah, he's insane at ganking, actually.
He's a really smart player.
Yeah, I can never tell if you're like joking.
No, I'm not joking,
That was
actually.
super
No.
smart pathing.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think I died to Jankos game.
He forced G2
I
bot
did.
lane to start inting, so I was actually
I
insane.
remember in the Gauntlet,
Yeah.
I carried him running mid.
Well, in any case, besides the EULCS action, tomorrow the European Challenger Series continues as well with a very special matchup, and James Stress O'Leary has more for us.
Hey
Hey everyone, Stress here to bring you up to speed on the European Challenger Series so far. We had 1 week of play, and what do you know, 2 zeros all across the board from our best of 2 series. The first matchup we want to take a little bit of a look at is Misfits Academy facing off against Millennium. It was a really close series that had everything. Baron steals, Dragon steals, you name it, it was here. But it was Misfits Academy, the newcomers to Challenger, that would take down some Challenger veterans in Millennium for their first win of the split. A couple of other teams that picked up big wins in the first week of play. Schalke 04, football team that everybody's keeping their eyes on, took down Kinguin in what would include a perfect game in their first showing for Challenger Series. It couldn't have got much better for Lulex and Selfie because the duo in the mid lane, Lulex continually found out Tabasco, continually found out Kinguin members, killed them and snowballed so hard for Schalke 04 that every single fight went in their favor and Kinguin got completely shut out of the game. Schalke looked really strong in this first game, and everybody really has to be talking about how strong Lulex is. Last time we saw him on H2K, didn't quite look up to this standard. Very scary jungle player right now. And speaking of jungle players, when we look at Fnatic Academy versus PSG, that was our last series that took place in week 1. And Broxer, you've seen him now on the Fnatic main LCS roster. Well, his debut in Challenger Series went super well for him. He got right into the jungle of PSG, taking away all of the buffs as often as he possibly could, and really set Fnatic Academy up to snowball heavily. Kikis, just a monster on this Maokai. Triple kills, unkillable in a bunch of the fights, and that's a lot of that LCS prowess coming through. That experience of these players really makes them difficult to deal with. PSG weren't deterred, though, as coming into Game 2, it looked so much better for the French lineup. They eventually shut Broxer out of the early game by picking him off fairly early on, getting a couple of kills, continuing to take fights, and it looked like PSG would be one of the teams that actually could contend against Fnatic Academy. If it wasn't for Fnatic Academy continually trading objectives and eventually getting themselves in front of an inhibitor after a big fight, with a couple of flashy plays from Niski's Rise along the way, dragging the minions with the Realm Warp from mid lane down to bottom lane in order to take 2 inhibitors. Reckless told us that Fnatic Academy look insanely strong, and after their week 1 performance, we have to agree. But I think this week, everybody's talking about the battle of the football titans. It's Schalke 04, Paris Saint-Germain going head-to-head in our final series on our Sunday coverage. All of our coverage will kick off on Sunday at 3 p.m. Don't forget to join us.
Thank you very much, James. Indeed, Schalke versus PSG, what a fantastic matchup. But after what we've seen last week, it looks like Schalke has the edge on this one, Crepo.
Yeah, they looked very convincing.
Super strong.
Lulex.
Lulex in 2K17.
No, he's okay. So there's a lot of memeing with you guys whenever we mention a player that is involved in them. But how good do you think Lulex is? Do you think there's a chance for him to kind of like go back on the arc of his career, or is this just him being better than Challenger but still not good enough for LCS?
I think Lulex betting is really insane.
Great,
But
nice.
on
All right, you're off the board because you're memeing. Feven, serious answer?
No, okay, so I think Lulex is like really, probably the best jungler like at pathing actually, like not memeing. He knows, no, actually he knows really well how to efficiently like jungle, you know. I think one thing he has to fix though is like just getting synergy with his laners, because you can't just AFK farm, you know, like you have to actually play accordingly to your lanes. So if he can do this, and if his laners play well, obviously, because you're not gonna win if your laners are not playing well, he cannot 1v9. So yeah, if everything matches well, then they can win.
But Selfie can. He can 1v9, right?
I don't think anybody can 1v9.
Okay.
In Challenger you can maybe.
Except Perks, of course.
Yes, of course. Perks is the only one who can 1v9. Deserves every player of the series, has only nice things to say. But thank you very much for joining us, you two guys.
Thank you
and
for having me.
congratulations for the victories. I think it's about time for us to log off here. Thank you guys very much. And the NALCS, they kick off in just over 30 minutes with CLG versus Echo Fox and Phoenix 1 versus Flight.
Oh my God,
Fox. We will see you next week at 5 p.m. Central European Time for our continuing coverage of the EULCS 2017 Spring Split. Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Ga wapen, hè, man. Let's go. Maar mag gewoon. Dit is zo mean, no? Maar ik ga wapen, man.
All right, we're gonna have to focus back because Betsy's getting taken down here. H2K are blowing the map wide open. Bevin running forward. Who's he gonna kill first? Jarden goes down. Can he get Betsy 2? Exhaust onto him. That's gonna do it. Betsy running, and it's the triple. He's looking for the quadra.
Top as well. I'm really strong now.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Max Lord down next. They're just cleaning house.
Yeah, no, just end the game, please.
Oh, he's gonna get taken down. Nope. Running away. Knocked back. Ticking down. No ignite. Wants to go in. Betsy goes down for first blood. He's in trouble now.
Yeah, he's in trouble. War's going.
Yankos is so fast. Oh no, Foxy. That's the double kill. That's the Warwick. Yankos just buying time on the backside, but he's going to give an exit to Foxy. Jarden set to fall. H2K cleaning up. Knocking down. Oh, Betsy's locked up. No, that's not what you want. Not even a death mark out. H2K. It's anything but clean, but it's going to be the 2-0 in their favor.
One player? Okay. But it's really hard, I think. I'm nervous.
Ooh, let's see here. There's TP from both top laners.
Oh, they hop on tabs, and Trick just deletes him right now. Origen are running right now, and it seems like everything is completely backfired. Expect takes down Eva. The rest of Origen may not live through it. A double kill for Trick.
We can kill them all. We can kill them all.
The tongue lands, the cage, the sapling, everything thrown at him, and that's a 1440 ace. Notorious gets melted. Even Hiva's running the wrong way right now. A double kill for Trick, and that's going to be lights out. 20 kills to 0, and it's an ace. A double kill for Trick. Once again, the anchor, but he stuns him under tower, locked by the cocoon, but he's taking tower, and Sartorius gets the kill,
Why do you stop?
and he dies!
One Spire.
Okay, they find Mithy, and it's Nahun who gets caught. The curtain call opens up, and they just blow through everybody, and that's going to be it. That's going to be game over.
Come on, Fox, you need
22 kills, and they're still looking for a couple more, but the Nexus falls. G2 making it look easy.
it.